There were a couple of things that I wanted to highlight again about the way he played on Saturday. And he remains, to me, a bigger question than a lot of other things about Oregon's team because, I mean, the defensive line looked awesome. The linebackers, I thought, looked good. Devin Jackson is so fast. He's so fast. The secondary looked like they had 1,000 playmakers. This is not the toughest receiver room that Oregon's going to go up against. They really had one guy, and he's good, but Oregon is not going to see a receiver room that's as light on talent as that one. I mean, Oregon State's might come close. They did not have a good game over the weekend against Cal, and I don't know who Northwestern has yet offensively, but those position groups, to me, I think are easier to judge when you're going up against a lesser opponent than quarterback because there's just so many things that come into play. You're going to be under more pressure against other. Not that there isn't a measuring stick component to playing a lower level team for a defensive line and a quarterback. I just think that the gap is a lot bigger. Like the depth along the defensive line, we know the talent is there. There's a blend of experience and young guys ready to take on a bigger role. Like there's a lot there, and it looked that way. They were so good. Amari Washington for Heisman, please and thank you. If he gets drafted into the NFL after this season, I'm gonna blame myself because I'm chair of the Amari Washington fan club, and guess what? He looked awesome on Saturday. But again, we'll see what happens when he goes up against some better offensive lines. Certainly he will. But for Dante Moore specifically, I want to see how he makes reads when the secondary has a more comparable level of talent. I want to see what happens when you go up against Jim Knowles, the Penn State defensive coordinator, formerly of Ohio State, that put Dylan Gabriel in the offense in a blender for an entire half of football, really for most of the game earlier this year in January. Like that's what I'm still waiting to see, and I don't think we'll get a great test between now and Penn State. I on the one hand hope we do, and on the other hand, I'd take a nice easy breezy 4-0 start, Oregon winning every game by a lot of points. That'd be great. Confidence riding high, all that stuff. But a couple of things. The arm talent. I talked with Jake Butt of the Big Ten Network who called the game going into last week. And, initially I pushed back when he said, I think Dante Moore is more gifted than either Dylan Gabriel or Bo Nix. And I said, yeah. But then I said, well, wait a minute. Bo Nix was a 5-star quarterback. Like, he's got a really good arm. I'm going to go back on my interjection there and say Bo Nix is a better runner. Maybe not by a ton, but definitely Nix is a better runner than Dante Moore. But of the three quarterbacks Dan Lanning has had, nobody has the arm talent of Dante Moore. I see so much Matthew Stafford in there with the way that he can drop to different arm angles, and it just comes out so easily and so catchable, and it's such a tight spiral, and he can improve. He didn't make every single throw over the weekend. I didn't expect him to, even against Montana State. Like, perfect example. Justice Lowe on, I think it was 2nd and goal before Oregon took the field goal. He was in a one-on-one going to the corner, and Dante Moore throws him a fade ball, and Justice Lowe is 6'1". His body type, I think, is basically Evan Stewart light. He didn't give him a chance to get the ball. He threw it too high. Those are the sorts of things you've got to be able to clean up. That's not going to be a pass you complete 100% of the time, but if you throw it that far over his head, you're going to complete it 0% of the time. I don't even know if Kyler Casper could have caught that ball. Or maybe Justice Lowe wildly mistimed his jump. It's not what it looked like to me. It looked like, yeah, Dante had that ball sail a little bit. But when he steps into a throw in rhythm and lets it rip and knows where he's supposed to go, man, it looks different. It looks different than Mariota. It looks different than Bo Nix. It looks close to Justin Herbert, who probably has the best arm in the history of Oregon football. I don't think I'm going out on a major limb there, but man, Dante Moore is the arm talent looks crazy. Also, something I forgot to note earlier. Just going through my notes. So DeCorian had that great block on. DeCorian Moore is an elite blocker at wide receiver. I mean, this is Keenan Lowe, Josh Huff level stuff on the perimeter. You know, the mantra back in the Chip Kelly days was no block, no rock. DeCorian Moore's not going to have a problem with that. So he blocked the wrong guy on Gary Bryant's touchdown. But he still blocked him with maximum effort there. The first play of the game, Noah Whittington's big run. Yeah, he had a big block there too. On Jaden Lamar's touchdown, yep, had a good block there too. Like, that guy's awesome. That guy is really, really awesome. But somebody asked me my top moments for Dante Moore from this particular game. There were two that really stood out as, okay, this looks how I would like it to. Number one wasn't a specific play, and I touched on this in the reaction show too. He just looked calm, comfortable, composed, and then that carried over into the best play he made, which was not forcing the ball in the red zone like Dylan Gabriel did last year. I'm sure he watched that against UCLA and Michigan State and Wisconsin and went, well, that wasn't good. 3 points would have been better than 0 points and giving the ball to the other team. But on 3rd and goal, he looked, nope, took off, looks downfield, nope, steps out of bounds, take a field goal, go up 17-0. That was probably my favorite Dante Moore play of the day, because that shows a level of maturity and understanding, not just against the opponent, but that can translate to anybody. To protect the ball, which was his biggest problem at UCLA. It's a small thing, but that was a really nice moment to me. The second one is the touchdown throw to Malik Benson. It's a really good read. I believe Montana State is in a cover 3, and Oregon's got a double post, so the middle route, Kenyon Sadiq coming from the slot, he occupies the middle safety, and so that leaves a void between the outside corner and the safety in the middle of the field who's guarding him, and Sadiq's not open. Once he identifies that and sees the window and makes that throw looks really easy. It's not a walk in the park. I'm not saying it's the most difficult throw that Dante Moore will make in his career. I'm just saying that play, that throw, to me was one of the more exciting ones that we saw from Dante Moore on Saturday. He was only, I think, 9.3 yards per attempt. That's not unheard of for a Will Stein offense, of course. And, you know, there were only so many downfield shots because they didn't need to be taken. I like that he took what was there. But when that play was there and that throw was made, that's one of those on TV that just looks different. You go, wow, that was a really easy throw. That window is not as big as you'd think because there's a linebacker underneath. So he can't, wait for Benson to get right out of his break. Benson had a great game, by the way. And he's got to throw that ball on time. It's on target. It's right on the money. He's away from the defender. And he showcases the arm talent again. Those were the moments that I thought were really, really great. So let me know what your favorite moments were from Dante Moore. But those two, far and away, to me, were the ones I saw and went, man, maybe we've got some. It's just Montana State. I'm not overreacting, but I'm also not going to completely disregard it either. So, a couple questions here from Locked On Ducks Insiders. You can submit them over there. You can submit them via YouTube comments. Also, quick note, Tuesday Trivia will return tomorrow. I am making a new rule for the sake of being able to find answers and also make sure that I see your questions, because YouTube comments can get weird. Like, you can still drop your comments below. I will still hop in there, but sometimes they go away. Sometimes I can't see them. Sometimes they don't load correctly. If you want to submit a trivia question, by all means, and I have to be selective now because it's only going to be once a week on Tuesdays. But if you want to do that, it's got to be a Twitter DM, or you become a Locked On Ducks Insider, or an Instagram DM, Facebook, whatever. It needs to be easier for me to go back and find so I can keep tabs on this stuff. But a couple here from Locked On Ducks Insiders. This was actually before the game, and then one of them was after the game. So, Adam Rittenberg at ESPN quoted a, quote, Power 4 coach that if Dante ran a 40, he'd run a 4.9. That's offensive line slow and seems wildly off for Dante Moore. Isn't his speed and mobility slightly above average at worst? It's part of the doubt creeping into the perception of Dante in Oregon. So this was sent in before the game on Saturday. I don't know who the Power 4 coach is, but I watched Dante Moore move, and he's not slow. They ran him more than I thought they would. They ran him a little more maybe than I would have liked them to. When you're playing Montana State, and there were no negative plays and the offensive line is just mauling guys all over the place, don't know that I wanted to run the quarterback. But I think Dante Moore has shown that he does have mobility to his game. It's not a primary feature, which is a good thing, but if he needs it in a pinch, he can absolutely show it. So, I don't think that, like, who's the Power 4 coach? Like, okay, when did you clock his 40 time? I don't know. That was weird from Rittenberg to post that. But, I'm talking about it on the show, so mission accomplished. All right, here's an interesting one. Mailbag. What would you need to see from the Ducks leading up to Penn State to give you confidence in that game? Doesn't look like we will be tested much until Penn State. What say you? 3 things. Dante Moore has to look the way he did on Saturday each of the next 3 games, without fail. The offensive line has to look the way it did on Saturday each of the next 3 games. And the defensive line has to look the way it did each of the next 3 games. Because if you cannot stop Penn State's rushing attack, if you cannot defend against their defensive line, which has got some dudes, and if Dante Moore is not able to dissect one of the best defenses in the country with one of the best defensive coordinators in the country, then like I've said all offseason, Oregon's going to lose that game. But if for the next 3 weeks, every score is like what the Ducks did to Montana State on Saturday, we'll see. We'll see. Penn State's still really good. They played Nevada, who is a Mountain West team, not a good one, but a Mountain West team, and they beat the crap out of them. Why? Because they're really good too. So I don't think at this point in time, though I love what I saw from Oregon on Saturday, I don't feel like they are significantly closer to Penn State in my eyes than they were when the season began. In the next 3 weeks, that can change, but those 3 things have to stay consistent throughout. There can't be wavering. There can't be questions. Oh, Oregon State got to them and this, that. No, that has to be there for me to get to that point. Oregon's gonna have that chance. They're gonna have a chance to win me over to pick them to beat Penn State. But that's going to be a difficult game. But man, it's going to be awesome.